I want you to think about this. Why do you think, feel, and act the way you do now? You might be a teenager, a parent, or somewhere in the middle. It doesn't really matter. All I need is a human with a functioning brain.
Anyways, this is me in my animated form. The reason for that is, well, there is no reason. I'm just experimenting. Now, let's start with the boring part.
Thousands of years ago, there was a...
No, not that boring. World's changing too fast. But the key aspect that trains a newborn in any year or timeline is the society, surroundings, and most importantly parents, how they treat you as a little kid, the restrictions and rules they put on you, and how did you as a child perceive these thoughts? Were you obedient, or were you like me, who questioned everything like God, religion, education, and even the laws made for human well-being? Now we humans are designed to bring new lives in this world. And the factor that makes sure we bond, reproduce, and evolve is love. So one day you become a parent. It changes you to a whole another level. You develop patience. You become a nourishing person. On the other hand, these little joyful creatures, with full of curiosity in their heads, they just want to know why and how things work. The curiosity that fades away as a child turns into an adult, which is a result of do's and don'ts surroundings put on us. Now, young kids naturally have a strong desire, or I would say the will to accomplish things that fascinate them, which we adults often lack. And so is their rage, which is an outcome of broken expectations and the pain of loss. At that particular moment, they just want to destroy everything around. But they are just too little to make an effect. We don't usually see that kind of rage in adults, or we would end up in prisons. Children are unaware that the love their society shows towards them will sooner be disappeared or replaced with huge expectations. They don't understand money, humanity, or the difference between right and wrong. Which makes me question, what if a really young kid isn't taught about what's right and wrong? Let's assume hypothetically there is a kid aged around 5-6 years, born in this age of evolving artificial intelligence and free information. And you, a responsible parent, decide that instead of putting your child through the existing system of education, you will simply push your son or daughter in the process of exploration and creation, without any constraints or access to information. Your motive should be developing problem-solving abilities of your kid and not facilitate them. Now what might happen is, your kid will develop a deeper understanding of the world, a self-aware personality. As a grown-up, one might come up with his or her own terms of life. A person capable of standing at the edge of the world to create, experiment, and innovate. But why am I speaking about young-aged kids and parenting? Well, the primary reason is your current miserable state, which might be a result of your past, as you are the product of your upbringing and surroundings. But that's just a slice of a whole pizza, cause how you shape yourself is what matters the most. Practice exploration, self-care, face challenges and setbacks, as this would develop resilience, which is a valuable trait one can have. Which reminds me that I'm talking about personality development, while today's subject is focused on the role of parenting and how it shapes personal growth. Let's just go back to that. Now, it's natural for parents to want to protect their child from negative influences. So what they do is instruct their child whom to be with and whom not to. But parents are just perceiving things from their own POV. And in most cases, it's just a misunderstanding or biased opinion that parents have. So what happens is, if children are disagreed to parents, they start ignoring parents' advice and end up doing of their own. Instead, parents' motive should be making their child wise enough to think and decide for themselves, and encourage their children to make responsible choices. The other most common habit parents perform is using other kids as a measuring unit for their own child. It gets difficult for a child who wants to walk a different path. Assuming that you know the story of Joker, you might at some part of your life felt like it's your story. The pain he experiences, the way he is misunderstood by people around him. Now, few parents always want their child to be under their control and obey them. They don't understand that things can't always be in their control. Or they could be. Cause obviously as a parent, you are the craftsman of your child. It's completely dependent on you how you as a craftsman shape a boomerang out of a wooden block. One that rebounds towards you, or one that cuts through everything that crosses its path. or one with no momentum which would eventually fall down somewhere in the middle, no matter how hard you throw it. That's wise parenting, I would say. Or maybe it's manipulating children without their awareness. But being honest is the best thing you can do in any relation. The relation between a parent and a child is meant to be unconditional, although there is no universal law that states this. But when two parties love and care for each other with least expectations, that's the healthiest relation. I think that's enough thoughts for now, cause I might branch out into unnecessary topics.